song. The mermaids explained that with the help of song they feel emotion. The water girl with an embarrassed grin stretched out her index finger and said that his face was so touching that it did not matter whether it was a song or a curse. Xavier continued to look at her intently and said that it was worth it. Lloyd looked at him weakly and realized that this scoundrel was the main character of the novel. Then the knight on the wings of light looked back at the brown-haired man and said that his face became the shield of his crushing song. The two of them stood at the edge of the ship, and the brown-haired man addressed the mermaid, telling her name and introducing his knight. This mermaid immediately looked down through his curly hair with a downcast expression and realized that his face was too ugly. The protagonist put his hand to his chest and bowed, wanting to skip this part because it was time to win the favor of the mermaids, so he expressed great gratitude for the invitation to the Mermaid Kingdom. The mermaid commander stretched out her hand with a dissatisfied grin and said that Lloyd was not passing. He immediately frowned angrily from under his brows and realized that he still had to do this, namely, accept his shortcomings and negotiate, gaining the upper hand. The blue-haired knight stood next to the dissatisfied gentleman and said that he would ask for a favor to let his comrade through. The mermaid immediately looked at him lovingly and agreed. The protagonist continued to look at the water with displeasure, standing next to the knight. Then he looked at Lloyd and saw that tears had appeared in his eyes. The protagonist began to wipe away his tears and made an excuse that salt had gotten into his eyes and they were drying. The blue-haired knight looked at him coldly and understood that with such a face, he needed to work tirelessly. This mermaid was lifted by hands so that she could put the necklace on the knights and explain that it allows them to breathe underwater and prevents the effects of water pressure and temperature changes. Then the main character simply had this necklace thrown at his head. He realized that no matter how dire the situation was, he was still invited to the Mermaid Kingdom and it did not matter how much pain he would receive. They dove into the water and followed to the Mermaid Kingdom. He understood that if he could find the Pearl of Truth, then he could only protect everyone in his territory. They continued to swim into the deep waters under the magical glowing algae. Then Lloyd saw a light at the end